Hello, hello, test one, test one. Hello, fine. I guess now you people can listen to me. Yeah. So let's start. In today's session, I'm going to talk about two topics: Jumbles and analogy. Let's start with the flow of the webinar. In the first part, I'm going to talk about Jumbles, and in the second part, I'm going to talk about analogy. Right. Okay. Fine. So that sounds good. Now, before we go ahead, I'd like to talk about that is the last session, that is on 19th of the May. We discussed 2 points. One was paragraph completion, and second was sentence correction. Hello. Okay. So we can start with the first part. I know that this. So I guess now it is resolved. I got the fault, and it has been resolved now. Okay, fine. So we'll start with this. As I told you before, we move on to the next one. I like to talk about the previous session, right? In the previous session, we talked about two things, right? The first was paragraph completion, and second was sentence correction. So in sentence correction, what we did was we talked about different types of sentences and their errors. And in paragraph completion, we started with how we can form a paragraph, how we can write a paragraph, how we can plan a paragraph, and then we can find out that what are the types of writing a paragraph. We talked about thesis statement and all, and then we moved ahead towards the errors or the sentences which are removed from either from the beginning of the paragraph, middle of the paragraph, or somewhere in the last sentences, right? Now, so here we have para jumbles today, that is what we call paragraph jumbles, right? That means if we talk about this, right, we can mention that the concept of para jumbles says that in a paragraph, right, that is taken from the paragraph is taken from anywhere, and from that paragraph there can be 3 to 6 or 7 8 sentences, right? So those sentences in paragraph completion questions, one sentence was missing and we need to look at it, right? That which sentence can be there from the option. Here in parajumbles, the thing is that we are given all the sentences of the paragraph in a jumbled form, right? In a twisted form. We need to find out that what can be the logical, what can be the correct sequence of that paragraph, so that we can reach to the answer. See, I tell you that to address these questions of para jumbles and para completion, you need a kind of mastery over English language. If you have got little bit reasoning or logic, right, you can definitely go for it. And the tricks the ideas I'm going to share today in this session that will help you to solve your problems up to 90%, right? Definitely 10% remains with you people for your practice. The more you practice, the more you can grow. There's a definitely, there is nobody talks about it, right? Nobody can deny that. So here, let's start with this. After talking about the concept, we can find out that what kind of questions asked. See, Jumbles is a type of question which you can find in many competitive exams or many exams where English is there, or logic is there, or reasoning is there. So it varies from total number of sentences from 4 to 7, but in all we can say that at our level, right, the beginner level, it can be asked for 3 or 4 questions, right? 4 is the ideal one because we get 4 options, A, B, C, D, like that. Fine, so we can go for that. Yeah, please say something. I can't hear what is going on. Kezo, this is a session on parajumbles, and this is a session for analogy. If you're going to appear for your exam or INSET exam, the scholarship test on 30th, coming 30th, right? In that verbal portion, right, there are 60 questions asked, and I have covered 6 major topics. Reading comprehension, I have shared with you people the links, right? The 2 other topics, paragraph completion and sentence correction, I dealt in the 19th session, right? And today I'm going to talk about parajumbles and analogy. I guess now you understood that where we are, why we are here today, right? Okay. Okay, so the next part of this session is tips and tricks for PJQs, right? There's parajumble questions, right? Here I tell you that the master key to solve parajumble questions, right, is only one thing, that if you can find out any mandatory pair, right, in that case your job is done, right? Mind it that you need to find out the mandatory pair. That means you need to find out a strong link of 2 sentences, any 2 sentences out of 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, right? In that way it would be easy for you to look at the options. Fine. So how to find out this mandatory pair is a big question, and that is the stuff that I'm going to share with you people today in this session, right? So look at this, right? These are 8 things. If you look at from top to bottom, right, you'll get to know that there are things, from name, time sequence, tenses, right, openers, conclusions, coercive devices, general to specific, result and result, right? These are the 8 different varieties, right? So these are the 8 different things that we need to look into, or these are the different 8 tricks for finding a mandatory pair. And if you can find out mandatory pair, in that case, believe me, your job is done for parajumble questions up to 90%. Fine. Okay, so let's start with the first one, right? Name, noun, and pronoun. That means in a paragraph, when we are given many questions, many sentences, right? You need to find out that, okay, what is the first one? That means first name is full name. Find out, right? Because when we talk about first, we write full name, then we talk about that name, then pronoun comes, right? Because noun is the name of a person, and pronoun is a noun, is a word that is used in place of noun. That means that comes last one. That means if you can find out any full name given, right, if you can find out that the full name in a paragraph, that can be the first sentence. Then any name, proper noun is given. For example, if you look at here, right, I can give you the example that Mr. Rajesh Verma is a full name, right? Then Mr. Rajesh is a name, right? It can be Mr. Verma, Mr. Rajesh, right? Okay. Then third one is men, and fourth is he, right? That means that third comes man and fourth comes he, right? This is the sequence. Fine. So if you find somewhere Mr. Rajesh, man, and he in 3 different sentences, believe me that first sentence will come with Mr. Rajesh, then second would be man, third would be he. But there are 4 sentences. Mr. Rajesh Verma as a full name will come first. Mr. Rajesh as a proper noun comes second. noun man will come third, and he as a pronoun will come fourth, right? This should be the sequence, right? If you understand this in that way, you find, if you find these kind of words in the paragraph question, right, this parajumble question, it will be easy for you to identify. Okay, so let's move to the next one, time sequence. Time sequence talks about chronology, right? Chronology means, it goes with the, chron means time, right? The one action happened, then second action happened, and third action happened. So when we find the different actions, right, they happen in the proper sequence, right? That is important for us. So there are certain kind of keywords that we can find, for example, firstly, secondly, initially, later, right? Or you can find out the event sequence, right? That something happened first and then that something happened last. For example, if I talk about plague and COVID-19, right, or corona. So plague happened some years back and corona happened here. Both are a pandemic, right? So thing is that when you talk about pandemics, so one thing happened somewhere in 40s, second happened in the 2019. So here we need to find out the sequence in terms of chronology. Chronology means sequence with reference to time. Clear? Okay. Now tenses, right? When there are words given, right? When we find that there are uh, tenses, identical, what we call it, uh, you find out, you can easily identify, okay, this sentence is of present tense, this sentence is of past tense, this sentence is of future tense. If you find this kind of blend in your question, right, make sure that you start with the past tense, then your present tense, and then future tense, right? So that way easy for you. Okay, so here this is something what we talk about, past tense, present tense, and future tense, right? I'm going to discuss one example, specific example on this. So when I talk about an example in a sample question, I'll take you back again here in this point number 3. Okay, now there are obvious openers, right? Now we call it the sentences which generally we find as opening of the paragraphs, right? So we need to find out those kind of things. Generally, when we are given definitions or philosophical statements or universal facts, right? Specifically, when things starts with it, right? Make sure that if it is not related to something else as a pronoun, in that way, right, that sentence can be the beginner, that can be the starter. It is believed that, right, it is the universal fact that, right? In that way, either it defines something, either it talks about philosophical statement, or it can be universal fact. If you find out such kind of thing, always start with those kind of things, so that will, in that way also, you can easily find out that, okay, this is the first sentence we can start with in the paragraph, right? Okay, conclusions, right? Conclusions, we had a long discussion on conclusion, how to find out conclusion when we talked about paragraph completion exercise, right? So conclusion means the last sentence, right? The last sentence, that means that talks about end result, that talks about after effect, right? So that, if you can find out that thing in any of the options, make sure that that should come last, right? And here, yeah. So the important thing is POE. This is something I'm going to talk about. This will help you to resolve your problems so far as you must have lots of confusions regarding when there are two close options or four close options, right? In that way, we need to find out. So here, POE is a very, very important thing, right? POE stands for process of elimination. I repeat, POE stands for process of elimination. That means here in MCQ, in competitive exams, right, when we have multiple choice questions, right, given to you, it is not the only way to reach to the right answer that you find out the right answer. The other way around is you start eliminating the options which are not relevant to you or relevant to the question, and you can reach to the right answer, right? Okay, so here process of elimination talks about how to eliminate the options, right? So here the sentence which is not of end result, the sentence which is not of after effect, right? You feel that okay, this is not the conclusion, I can omit that. Fine. Okay, so after conclusion, we can find out coercive devices. Coercive devices, we call it connecting words or keywords. Fine. These keywords help you like anything to find out a mandatory pair. Fine. For example, there are two sentences. In one sentence, that has been broken by two, and it starts with so. So and the sentence, that means that particular sentence talk about any effect. So you need to find out that what was the sentence earlier which was placed before so, that is the cause of this second number sentence. If you can find out this connectivity, right, in that way it can be easy for you. Fine. Okay, so it's likewise because, right? So any sentence starts with because and the earlier is not there, that means definitely you need to find out cause and effect. If the sentence you can find with but, right, that means the other sentence before but is definitely the contradictory one, right? It is the contrast of the next sentence. You find out the tone of the sentence, right? If it is positive, the other would be negative. If it is negative, that can be positive. Fine. So in a way you can find it out. The more clarity you will get when it start talking about or will start solving the questions. Fine. Okay, next is generic to specific, right? In a general way we see that the paragraph flows from general to specific, right? It's reached to the certain point. So general information starts, and the specific information comes last. So it moves, it travels from general to specific, right? This is a common way of writing that flow works. Fine. Okay, so here you need to find out that what are the words which are given. For example, if I talk about the world, right, then I talk about Asia, then I talk about India, I talk about Gujarat, I talk about Rajkot, I talk about my city. So I started with the world and came down, narrow it down to my city, right? So that means I talk about general to specific, right? When I in the starting I talked about verbal aptitude as a subject, right? And then we narrowed it down to one topic. And from that topic, we reached to the one issue or one trick. That means we traveled from generic to specific. This is the way you need to search from the given options so far as paragraph jumbles are questions, right? Or consent, right? Okay. Now, next one is result and result. That means the way I told you for coercive devices over here, right? Here you find out the keywords, and here reason and result the same thing. For example, if sentence starts with why, that means while something happened. So before that, what happened? That means action one happened while second happened. If first action happens, then second action happens. One action happened, as a result, action number two happened. As action number one happened, action number two goes, right? So this is what we call reason and a result. That is what we call cause and effect relationship, right? So this is important for us. Fine. Okay, so everybody, are you with me? Could you understand all these 8 tricks? If you say yes, right, I'll move ahead. Fine, I'm waiting for your responses. Great. Okay. When you say yes, I'm happy I can go ahead. Okay. Now you look at the sample question. Both are very happy. Mr. Sharma nominated Mr. Verma. Mr. Raj Sharma sent an appraisal report for Mr. Sham Verma's promotion. Fine. Now you tell me what would be the sequence. You will tell me either it is ABC, BCA, BAC. What would be the sequence? Can you tell me the sequence so that I can go ahead? Okay. CBA. Most of the people say CBA, right? CBA is the right answer. Why I tell you that Mr. Raj Verma is a full name. Mr. Sharma, Mr. Raj Sharma is a full name. Mr. Sharma is a proper noun, and both that talks about Verma and Sharma. That's why it goes last. So in that way, it is easy. Okay. Now, in 2050, we may live on other planets. Man used to live in jungles during 5th century. Presently, man lives in a jungle made of buildings. Now, this is about tenses. So we need to find out the first past tense, then present tense, and then future tense. And tell me what would be the answer. What would be the answer? Wow. People are very fast, right? You are telling me CBA, CBA, CBA. Okay, okay. CBA, CBA, BCA. People are telling. Okay, so here we can say that B man used to live in jungles, that is past tense, so it will come first, right? Then presently is a present tense, will come second, and A, that is future tense, it will come. So it's BCA. Wow, wow, everybody said correctly. Great, great, great. I'm very happy. I'm very happy for you people. Excellent, excellent. Now another question. Now genuinely how these questions are asked. These questions are asked like this. You are given 4 options, right? And there are 4 options to that, right? For example, 4 sentences. A page view is a better measure of performance of a website. It is important to differentiate a hit from a page view. This is with respect to a hit. A page can have multiple hits. Right. Now tell me. Now tell me that out of A, B, C, D, which option is there, right? Option number 1 says, D, B, C, A. That means option, sentence number D will come first, then option sentence number, B, then sentence number C, and sentence number A. Option number B says that it would come like first A, then B, then C, right? Option number C says that it would be like B, A, C, D, and option number D says B, A, D, C, right? So tell me what can be there. So what can be there here? You need to give me the sequence like A, B, C, D, D, C, B, A, B, C, D out of these 4 options. Look at the answer. The answer is C, that is BACD. As I told you that generally if sentence it starts with it, that means it talks about generic thing, so it comes first. Fine. So it talks about page review. So in sentence number B starts talking about page review, right? And then sentence number A talks about what page view is, how page view is important for a website, right? And then it comes with C and D, right? That is page, page. This is with respect to a hit. This is a demonstrative pronoun. Now this means it talks about a page view, right? And then a page can have multiple views, right? So answer number C, BACD is the right answer. BACD is the right answer. Fine. Okay. Now another one. This is something one Amul company which is very famous in India, right? They've launched one candy, right? And they talk about this. So tell me, out of this three, it's a very easy one. It's easy one because there are only three sentences. There will be less combinations to think of. So which action happened first, which action happened next, and which was the last one? This is CBA. C is when, I told you that when, while, these are the keywords. Fine. So they begin with. So entire thing. For example, other markers makers copied with different tests. That means they copied something. So it must have something done, right? So what happened? That was candy bar, right? So candy bar happened. Candy bar was launched first by Amul, right? So that is the first event that happened, right? They had no expectations, right? So that was the cause, and the result was, to their surprise, there means Amul, right? It is Amul, not the makers. So there represents Amul people, right? So that's why CB, and the last one is other makers copied with different tests, right? So this, in this way, the answer goes like this: CBA, right? Okay, I guess you people are very easy with three sentences. It becomes better difficult for you people when it comes to four sentences, right? But in exam you will find more of such sentences, so we'll have practice. You need to go for more practices so that you can go ahead with this. Fine. Okay. You will find many online test practices for paragraph jumbles, right? So find it out, Google it out, and try to solve more examples so that you can do well in exam, right? And for that, you write it down in your book, find these 8 things, and when you solve your para jumble questions, right, you try to mark it out that which was the trick or which was the rule that applied in solving this. Fine. So that will help you like anything. So if you are agree with me, and if you are clear with parajumbles, we can start with analogy. If you can type yes, if you understood up to now, fine. We can go ahead. We can go ahead with analogy. Great. So people are saying yes. See, this is the topic: parajumbles, analogy, sentence completion, right? These are the things that requires lots of practices, because only with practice you can go ahead. So I'm giving you the glimpses, just the kind of bird eye view, so that you can get the idea. When you look at the question for the first time, you don't feel like you just got shocked and you don't understood. You don't get the things in a way, right? So that's why we are talking about this. But you need to go for more practices, right? Uh, the more you practice, the more you will be comfortable on the day of exam, right? So go for it. And if you have any queries regarding, if you want more questions or practices, links or whatever, right, you can write to me on my email ID and I'll get back to you. I'll reply you with whatever details or material I have. I'll share with you people. I'll be more than happy to help you in for your exams, right? So we can start with analogy now. Okay, so this is the second part of analogy, and we can go for analogy in three different segments, right? Three different parts. The first one is we'll talk about concept of analogy. Then second, we'll talk about types of analogy, and third, there will be sample questions for analogy, right? Okay, and I'm going to, by the way, I tell you that I'm going to upload many videos in coming days related to your exam, right? So you can keep watching, over here, and you can find more videos, more details about your, developing your proficiency in English, right? Especially if you want to speak English fluently, if you want to, sharpen your grammar skills, if you want to improve your writing skill, you can, stay tuned to, this channel, and you will get to things, definitely. Okay, now we start with the first one. What is concept of analogy, right? If you look at this, a beautiful diagram I have, put over here on the screen, that talks about A and B, and there is one thing that talks about relationship, right? That means it talks about analogy means similarity or a correspondence between two branches or two words, right? We need to find out. If you can find out what is the relationship between A and B, right? In that way, it will be easy for you to find out the answer. Fine. Okay. Yeah, you can write to me. I have mentioned my email address, right? You can easily Google it out for test. You write down test for para jumbles and you will get it, right? There are millions of tests available, right? If you still fail to do that, you can write to me. I'll definitely, revert with the links. Fine. Okay. So we need to find out the relationship between A and B so that we can predict the relationship between C and D, right? Which is our answer, right? How this question will be asked, I'm going to talk about that, right? For example, you'll be given boy is to man, right? This is the relationship given, and then you will be given another word, for example, lion. So boy is to man, then what lion is to blank? We need to find out. Fine. So there are different types of relationships. I have categorized them here, and I'm going to talk about different things. Monir, I am from India, Rajkot, Gujarat, right? I worked in Marwadi University. Fine. Okay. So first type of relationship, age relationship, right? Boy and man, right? Calf and cow, colt and horse. Over here you can look at this. Boy, cow and colt, they're the offspring of man, cow and horse, right? That means boy is offspring of man, calf is offspring of cow, colt means the young horse, young one of horse, right? So what can be the name of kid, right? What can be the lion's kid, what we call it? Fine. And what is the name of, what do we call a kid of a dog? Fine. I give you hint. Lion is to cub, right? When there is a cub, we call it lion, because cub is the offspring of lion, right? So what is the offspring of dog? What do we call? Can you write in the comment box? See, we need to work together, right? There must be constant, engagement, participation, so that we can go ahead. Oh, great. Lots of people are telling puppies, right? So puppy is the right answer. Great, great, great. Okay. So I'm going to go with the next type, blood relation or family relation, right? For example, a brother is to sister, right? It corresponds the same level of relation. Father, mother, uncle, auntie, right? So what can be the relationship or family of husband to what and son to what? Son is to daughter because we need to look at the same level. Husband, right? What would be the answer for husband? Husband is to what? Can you tell me? For husband, relationship, wife. Okay, great, great. Okay, so we can go with the next one, cause and effect, right? That means one word talks about cause and the second word talks about effect, right? If you taunt somebody, right, if you pass a comment on somebody, that person would be unhappy. That means the first word is the reaction of the second word. When there is a dirt, there is a disease, right? When there is a dirt, there will be disease, right? So if you work hard, if there is hard work, what would be there? There will be, it's not, see Joseph, this is not opposite, right? Make sure hard work is not lazy. Hard work is the reaction, right? What can be the reaction of hard work? If you work hard, you will succeed, right? So success is the right answer. Success is the right answer, right? So if you get success, if you work hard, hard work is to success. Very good, very good. Hard work is no poverty, right? Eka, this is not the one, right? You need to go for success is the right answer. Okay, degree of difference. See, the words are very similar. The words are very similar, but we need to find out there is a little difference in the degree only. For example, tepid means hot, hot is hot. But tepid is not that much hot, right? We call it, lukewarm, tepid, hot, sizzling, right? So there are degree of hotness. Fine. So tepid and hot both means it is hot, but degree is different, right? Tepid is like this, hot is like this. Now if you talk about hot and sizzling, hot is like this, sizzling is like this. When you eat sizzler, you'll find the things, right? So what is cold? So what came the other word which talks about cold, but in a different degree? It can be more, it can be less. Cold is to cold is to freezing. Good, good. Chilling, freezing, both are right words, right? We can write also chilled, right? It was very chilled out, right? So it can be there. It was very freezing. So both are right words, right? Good, good. Okay, so I can go ahead, right? Next one is the finished products and raw material. Finished products and raw material. That means one word talks about a product, finished product. The other word talks about the material, right? Okay, it can be vice versa in a way, right? For example, oil, right? Seed. So oil is made of seed, fabric is made of yarn, right? So sugar cane, right? If you want to make sugar, sugar comes from sugar cane, right? As I told you, it can be what we call it, vice versa, right? So in that way, so one word is in a part raw material, second word is outcome or finished product. Now I gave you example of bread, right? Bread, if you go back, it can be flour, right? If you go this way, bread to sandwich, right? Sandwich is a finished product, its raw material is bread. But if you consider bread as a finished product, flour would be raw material, right? In that way you need to work. Clear? Great, great, great. Okay, it can be both the ways, it goes both ways, right? Good, good. Then functional relationship, right? That means one word is a profession, second word that person does, right? That means teacher, the function of teacher is to teach. The function of farmer is to farm. The function of general is to command. It's about army in general, you know. So what is the function of thief? Definitely it would be stealing, right? What does a thief do? Thief steals the things, right? So you're thief stealing. Getting? In that way it works. Very good. Great. Then location relationship, right? That means the one word talks about location. For example, Lotus Temple. Where is Lotus Temple located in Delhi? Delhi is the capital of India. Fine. Okay. Rwanda is in Africa. Fine. Okay. Now India is in Asia. Where is Ethiopia is in Africa, right? So in that way you can work out. Then numerical relationship. Great. Okay. So in numerical relationship, we need to find out the relation of two words. For example, 2 and 4, 5 and 25. Fine. So here 4 is a square of 2, 25 is a square of 5. Likewise, there can be root words, there can be multiplications, there can be divisions, there can be additions. Fine. If you look at this, 3 is to 27, then 4 is to what? 16. My God, Joseph, you are doing great there. You can win the fastest finger first, right? Because you are doing faster, right? 60, 16, 64, 16. Okay, so here we need to find out that 3 into 3 is 9, 9 into 3 is 27. 4 into 4 is 64, right? 64 is the right answer, right? So good, because we are looking for the cubes, right? 27 is the cube of 3, then 64 should be the cube of 4. Excellent, right? So you see, in reasoning, don't listen to your heart, listen to your head. Fine, make sure that whatever you think you enter properly. Otherwise, what will happen that you miss it out and you write wrong answer and your marks is gone, right? 36 can never be there, right? Right answer is 64. Great. Purpose and relationship, right? One word talks about the purpose of the other word. The one word talks about the other one. For example, pen. The purpose of pen is to write. The purpose of eraser is to rub, right? What is the purpose of camera then? What is the purpose of camera? What is the purpose of camera? Tell me. Good. Camera is to shoot. Camera is to capture. Good. Okay. Great one. Right. Okay. Now, qualitative. Right. It's about quantitative, not just qualitative. It's quantitative. Right. You need to find out the quantity. Right. Okay. Foot is to inch. That means an inch is a part of foot, small and a huge. Right. So in that way, you need to look it out. Now, if you look at this kilometer, right? So kilometer is a big one. What is the small one? Small one is meter, right? Kilometer to meter, foot to inch, huge to small, right? This is the relation that you need to find out, right? So it talks about unit relationship, right? It talks about unit relationship, right? Okay. Then we go with the gender relationship. What do you mean by gender relationship? Yeah, it's not a highway. Kilometer to meter, right? Meter is the right answer, right? Not millimeter. If you write that would be millimeter, right? Okay, fine, great. So gender, boy then girl. That means we write down the opposite gender. We write down the opposite gender, right? So boy is to girl. That means male to female. Gentleman to lady, male to female. Fine. Men to woman, that is male to female, right? So what can be the other word for nephew? What can be the other word for nephew? Can anybody tell me? Niece. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, very good. I'm very happy that you people are participating, right? Very fast in a way. Then other type is specialist and subject area relationship. That means that one person is specialized for that particular subject or area. For example, chef is a person who is expert in making food. Fine. Pediatrician is a person who deals with, kids. You know, he does the treatment for children and babies, small babies, right? Cardiologist is a person who is master, right, specialized for heart, right? Then who is the person, right, who specialized for, right? The person who is ophthalmologist. Ophthalmologist is the person who is specialized in what? Can you tell me? For example, cardiologist is for heart, then ophthalmologist is for, I can give you a little clue. Ophthalmologist. Excellent. Eyes, eyes, eyes. Great. Then next one is study relationship, right? That means it talks about botany is a branch that studies plants. Zoology is a branch that studies animals. So what does nanoscience study? When botany studies plants, zoology studies animals, right? What does nanoscience studies? Nanoscience, nano objects. Money is good, nano objects, right? It talks about nano objects of science, right? Nano means small. It talks about the small things, right? Good, good. Then next one is synonyms. Synonyms relationships, right? That means the words, both the words are similar in a meaning, right? For example, mix is to blend. We mix it or we blend it. Solicit and request. Solicit and request, right? So acknowledge is to accept. That means both the words are similar in a meaning. That's why they call synonyms. Fine. Okay. Next one is utility relationship. That means the first word is used for the other word. That means trucks are used for transportation. Sofas are used for sitting. Fine. Okay. So what is the use of mobile? What is the utility of mobile? Mobile is for calling. Yeah. There are multiple usages of mobile. You can write anything or you can find out anything which is there in the list. You can pick and choose the right answer and you can get things done, right? Good. So mobile is for calling. Then whole article and part, right? Right. Everybody's answer is right. Communication, talk, right? Communication, talking, shooting, right? All the answers are correct. Call is right answer, right? Okay, good. Now look at this. The first word is book. Book is a whole part. The one part of book is page. It can be a page. It can be a paper. Fine. Then body is a full part. One part of body is muscle. It can be finger. It can be hand. It can be given like this: body, head, body, hand, body, leg, body, finger, or hand, finger. Getting? So in that way it can be given. You need to find out that which word talks about the whole part and which word talks about the part of it, right? You'll get the idea. Now if it is bicycle, pedals, my goodness, Mike, I'm very happy, right? You are fantastic, Mike. Before I asked the question, you answered bicycle is for pedals, right? Bicycles are there for pedals. Very good, very good. Then worker and tool. Worker and tool, right? That means one is a worker, the second word is its tool. Teacher is not a worker, but I have kept over here, right? Teacher is a chalk. That means teacher's tool is chalk. Nowadays, in this ICT enabled, era, right? Teacher is laptop. We can write, right? Otherwise, web developer is to laptop. Fine. A soldier, then gun. It would be like this, right? So barber uses the scissors. So what does cobbler use? What does cobbler use? Can anyone tell me? Cobbler. Is everybody tired or what? I'm not getting the answer. Chain, cobbler, needles, right, repair. Yeah, cobbler is the person who repaired the shoes, right? Good. Good, good. Now let's go for the answer, simple questions. We are in the last phase of our webinar, bouquet and flower. See, book is a full group of flowers. That means we have got lots of flowers together, and flower is part of it. That means whole and a part. Whole and a part. We need to find out. Fine. So what can be there? Look at this. Chain and link. Right. And for entire chain, the link, the word link is there. That means there are different links like this, that makes the chain. It's a part of it. Right. Without it is not possible. Fine. Okay. Next one is cow and herd. Cow, that is a group of cow, is called herd. Right? Then what can be the answer? Grass green, child family, bald hair, horse jockey. Grass green, that means grass is green, right? No. Child and family, bald and hair. The person bald and the person who has no hair is bald. Nothing related, right? Horse and jockey, the person who sits on a horse is a jockey, right? It's not there. So here the answer is B, right? Child and family, because cow is a part of a herd and a child is a part of a family. That's why it should be B. I'm very happy that people are writing answer B. Good, good. Then argument and debate. They are similar type of words, right? They are similar. Argument and debate, right? Violence and peace are opposite. Fight and contest similar. Opponent and challenge. Opponent is the person whom you challenge. You disagree with a partner. So here fight and contest. B. Fight and contest are the right answer. Good. Because they are synonyms and similar words. Then germ and disease. Germ is the reason. Because of germs we find disease, right? So man and woman opposite. Doctor and medicine. Doctor gives medicine. Honor and shop, same thing, right? Here, because of war, destruction happens. Because of war, destruction happens. That's why it is war and destruction. It talks about cause and effect. Very good. Everybody is writing the same answer. Yep. So this was the session for paragraph, jumbles and analogy. I hope you enjoyed. If you have a question or a query, or if you have any feedback to share, you can definitely write to me on deepak.mashru@gmail.com. Fine. And you can revisit this video. This video would be lying here only. It would be for you people. So if you have any queries or questions, you can get back to me on my email, and I'll be more than happy to help you with reference to anything that you wish to get right. For example, if you want more tests, if you want more questions, you can get it from me. Fine. Thank you very much for your patience, and thank you very much for joining me here for this session. Fine. I wish you all the best for your final exam, and I wish to see you soon on my campus. Thank you very much.